Have you ever found yourself endlessly scrolling, watching a parade of perfect vacations, promotions, and happy families march across your screen? A feeling starts to creep in, a quiet, sinking feeling of inadequacy. You look at their curated lives, and then at your own reality, and a gap appears, one filled with anxiety and self-doubt. Why does their life seem so effortless, while yours feels like a struggle? You close the app, but the feeling lingers. What if I told you that the key to escaping this digital trap wasn't a new app or a detox, but a 2,000-year-old secret from a former slave turned philosopher? Visual, fast-paced montage of various social media feeds, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. The clips get more and more idealized. The scrolling finger slows down and stops on a particularly perfect image. In our hyper-connected world, we carry these windows into millions of lives right in our pockets. But these windows are rarely clear glass. They are stained with filters, edited for perfection and angled to show only the best moments. We are constantly exposed to the highlight reels of others, an endless stream of successes, beauty, and happiness. It's no wonder that studies link heavy social media use to increased rates of anxiety, depression, and loneliness. We are biologically wired to compare ourselves to others in our tribe, but our tribe is no longer just a small village. It's a global network of billions, and we're comparing our behind-the-scenes struggles to their perfectly staged final cuts. This constant comparison is a game we are rigged to lose, a source of endless self-inflicted stress. Visual animation showing a single person being overwhelmed by a flood of icons and images pouring out of a smartphone. But there is a way to reclaim your peace. It comes from the ancient school of Stoicism and a man named Epictetus. Born a slave in ancient Rome, Epictetus endured immense hardship. He learned that the secret to a tranquil life, a life of what the Stoics called eudaimonia, or human flourishing, did not depend on his external circumstances. He couldn't control whether he was a slave or free, rich or poor. But he discovered something profound that he could control: his own mind. Visual, a calm, animated depiction of Epictetus teaching a small group of students in a Greco-Roman setting. A statue of Epictetus is shown. This is the core of his most powerful teaching: the dichotomy of control. It's a simple but life-changing idea. In any situation, we must separate what is within our control from what is not. Epictetus taught that things like our health, our reputation, and what other people do are ultimately outside of our direct control. You can exercise and eat well, but you might still get sick. You can act honorably, but someone might still slander you. Trying to control these things is, in his words, the chief source of men's troubles. What then is in our control? Our judgments, our intentions, our desires, and our actions. In short, our inner world, our own character. This is where we must focus all our energy. Visual and animation of two distinct circles. One labeled "out of my control" contains icons for weather, other people's opinions, the past. The other, labeled "in my control," contains icons for thoughts, actions, effort. So how do we apply this ancient wisdom to the modern chaos of social media? Let's break it down into 3 practical steps. First, you must clearly identify what is not in your control. When you're on social media, you have absolutely no control over what other people post. You don't control their carefully crafted captions, the number of likes they get, or the comments they receive. You don't control the algorithm that decides what you see next. You don't control whether your old friend from college just bought a new house or your co-worker just got a promotion. Obsessing over these things, feeling envy or resentment, is like getting angry at the clouds for raining. It is a waste of your precious mental energy. Let it go. It is not your business. It is not in your power. Visual, a user scrolls through a feed. As they pass a post about a new car, a like counter, and a negative comment, these elements are highlighted and then fade away, marked with a red X to signify they are out of control. Second, and most importantly, identify what is in your control. This is where your power lies. You control who you follow and who you mute. If an account consistently makes you feel bad about yourself, you have the power to remove it from your feed. It's not rude, it's self-preservation. You control how much time you spend on the app. You can set timers, use app blockers, or simply make a conscious choice to put the phone down. You control your intention for opening the app in the first place. Are you mindlessly scrolling to numb boredom, or are you actively connecting with a friend or learning something new? And crucially, you control your reaction. When you see a post that sparks envy, you can control the choice to pause, take a breath. And remember that you are only seeing a sliver of someone's life. You can choose to be happy for them, or simply to observe it without judgment and move on. Your reaction is your domain. Visual. A user is shown actively curating their feed, clicking mute and unfollow on certain profiles, and following new, inspiring accounts. Then they set a timer on their phone for social media. This brings us to our third and final step, a practical exercise I call the Stoic Scroll. Before you open any social media app, I want you to take just 30 seconds to perform a mental checklist. It's simple, but it's powerful. Visual. An animation showing a calm figure sitting with their eyes closed. A checklist appears next to them. First, ask yourself, what is my intention? Why am I opening this app right now? Is it to connect, to learn, or to escape? Be honest with yourself. Second, remind yourself, I will focus only on what I can control. I will control my time, my attention, and my reactions. And third, affirm to yourself, I will not be disturbed by what is outside my control. I will observe the posts of others, but I will not let them dictate my self-worth. By taking these 30 seconds, you are not just scrolling, you are engaging with intention. You are putting on your stoic armor before entering the digital arena. You are transforming a potential source of anxiety into an exercise in mindfulness and self-command. Visual. The figure from the animation now opens a phone, but their expression is calm and neutral. They scroll with purpose, not anxiety. The endless scroll doesn't have to be a source of anxiety. Social media doesn't have to be a thief of joy. By applying the 2,000-year-old wisdom of the dichotomy of control, you can reclaim your peace of mind in the digital age. It's not about deleting your accounts or rejecting technology. It's about mastering your inner response to it. Remember what you can control and what you cannot. Focus your energy on your own actions, your own intentions, and your own character. Let go of the rest. That is the path to tranquility, both online and off. As the great Stoic Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. If this wisdom helped you find a measure of strength today, consider subscribing for more insights on navigating the modern world with ancient philosophy. Thank you for watching.